All right, DJ. So we're back from your first deployment, and it's 2007. I think you're 22 years old now, and you're getting ready to go back to Iraq again for a second time. And you found yourself in somewhat of a historic firefight that's been talked about a lot. So I'd love to get your take on what happened and how that deployment went.
Yeah, kind of leading up to that, we'll kind of segue back to it. We, on our turnover op when we first flew in there, so we had our platoon, our sister platoon, and we were relieving SEAL Team 4. So that was Mike Day's platoon. So our turnover op with our sister platoon is when Mike Day's incident happened. He got shot 27 times.
Shit.
That's how we kicked off the deployment.
That's how it started. Mm-hmm. Fucking hey, man.
So we had one of the guys in the sister platoon got shot, got medically retired, took a crazy round through the arm, and it had a bunch of nerve damage and it balled his hand up. He's out, and he was one of our corpsmen too. He's an awesome dude. So we automatically lost him, and we basically just combined forces.
Were you on that operation?
I wasn't. That was
No?
our sister platoon, and it was one of the handover ops. So it was Team 4 heavy, and then a little bit of Team 10. The HQ element, a couple of senior guys just to see how he did business. These are what the routes are like. This is what the target set's like. And it just so happened they were going after an AQ cell that had just shot down a Marine helo. So they had all their guns, had their body armor, had helmets, had night vision, had the whole thing.
Fuck.
So we kind of rode that wave pretty much the whole deployment. It was super busy, a different area, working for the West Coast teams. So it was great. We were busy, like super busy. And it felt like how I thought it would feel.
Really?
Yeah.
Like this is what you envisioned when you joined?
Like even some of the animosity stuff, like we'd go to the chow hall and they'd bitch about it because we'd come in wearing tank tops and now you got to wear, like even the stuff we would complain about, it made you feel like, I feel like a Navy SEAL now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm in a strike force. Like this is how it's supposed to feel. Like we're gelling, we're going out every night. Like this is what it is. But the reality hadn't set in yet on what we're actually doing because it hasn't happened to you yet. So it's not a real thing.
Yeah.
A couple months into deployment, we're steady, engaging with the enemy. It's fine. And one night we go out and we're in a really bad section.
Where were you guys at?
Just outside of Fallujah, but we were operating this little town called Karma.
Okay.
And it was good, but a lot of palm groves, a lot of nasty shit out there. We were not trained to do. So kind of come into play later about our inexperience. But one night we do an offset infill. We're patrolling a target and we get about 200 meters out and you could see the entire posture shift of everybody in that assault force. Everybody switched. You could smell it. Like this is a fucking ambush. Like it just is. Walking down the road, the houses we were walking past, like you were waiting. It was a breath hold the entire way. And I say that because people started doing things they've never done before. The pace they were moving, we've never moved at that pace before. When we would do patrolling and training, like there's a lackadaisical patrol and there's a patrol to contact, like we're gonna get hit right now. Everybody was in patrol to contact mode. Like it's happening right now. You're waiting for a TRADET to throw RD sims and kick the whole thing off. Like it's right there. And I remember the last 50 feet sprinting to the building. They had a big overhang and we've been getting ISR updates. There's multiple guys on a roof. You're like, okay. So as we patrol up, there's a bunch of guys in the courtyard of this and it's an Iranian influence cell that we're kind of going after now and they fight completely different. We lock down some guys on these sleepers out in the courtyard and we maneuver up. Made silent entry. We go in, we're doing our whole clearance and I bolt straight for the stairs. It's a huge open room. I don't know how to describe it. Just a huge open room with little offshoot bedrooms. Made no sense to be a house. It was like a structure. And they had a 2-tier landing that came up and banked and then it basically just opened into the roof. Just an opening in the middle of the roof and you walked up and you're surrounded 360, 720 by the roof. stacked up the train and got it right there, right at the last little breach of it. So I'm about this high underneath it. And I stood up and threw on my laser, and there was a dude sprinting at me at full blast with a pistol in his hand and unloaded 6 shots at me.
No shit.
Yeah, so he unloaded. I unloaded on him, got off 3 rounds in a bolt lock. So dropped to my knees, and we called exfil. Ran around the back. Everybody got their guns up and running, and grenades started coming off the roof. So in rally, what had happened is...
So hold on. Did you eliminate the threat?
Yep.
He's dead. Mm-hmm. Did he didn't hit you?
He did.
He did hit you.
He hit me in the chest plate in one of the magazines. So pistol caliber, like 45, dead center. Dead center. So snagged me there, which I don't know how he did it, with a downward angle because that was presented. So blind luck, snagged me in the plates, we're good. I don't know where the other 5 went. I don't know how they didn't hit anybody else. But I mean, he was probably within 6 feet. I mean, he was there. What you didn't realize, in the ISR update we did not get, is he was standing at the base of the stairs waiting. They never told us that. He's standing there waiting for us to come up, and there is another shooter in a sandbag position with a belt fed, a PK, aimed at the top of the stairs, and he's pulled off a suicide vest and laid it at the base of the stairs and pulled back a command wire, and you can see him. He's holding it. He's waiting to clack it off. And we never know. So if I would have made entry, if I shot that dude and would have continued to go, that guy would have cut me in half. So just blind luck that I got bolt lock and I forced to retreat. So we start trading grenades on the roof back and forth. A bunch of different maneuver elements are happening. We've got 3 or 4 guys that are fragged from the grenades, our chief included, I think a corpsman, our terp, our JTAC. So a bunch of guys. Not bad, but bad enough. I mean, it's your first time being wounded, like, takes you by surprise. Like, you hear wounded eagle, it's like, oh no. Like, how bad? You instantly think the worst. But we had to win the fight. So we're trading grenades on the roof, we're doing that whole thing. And one of the guys wanted to send one of the mams from the courtyard. He grabs him, terp, perfect English. He's like, I know who that is. Oh yeah? And he's like, it's my cousin. Like, terp tells him again, like, send that dude up there and tell him to tell his cousin to come down here. Like, we don't know who's up there. The slant was really weird that night with how many women and kids were supposed to be there. It was bad intel. It was kind of just hodgepodge, and we sent that dude back up there. And he's calling out to his cousin, you know, whatever he's saying, and he got halfway up the stairs and poked his head up, and that dude let it go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Killed his own cousin. And here we go. More grenades are coming off the roof. So the whole force now, we're basically locked down inside of this building, and grenades are coming off. We don't know how many dudes are on the roof. And now there's multiple maneuver elements of bad guys in and around the city, and we have to fall back now. We got a super badass new guy posted up with a saw. Basically, everybody wants that opportunity. Rock the front of this building so we can all run underneath it. That dude stepped out and just whoa, 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 sent it. We all ran back, and we got our first fire mission in, like a first, like, no shit fire mission.
Damn.
So that was cool. I didn't know I'd been hit yet.
You didn't know you've been hit yet?
Mm-mm. I had no idea. I kept having a bolt lock. So I'd fire 3 rounds, bolt lock. I dumped out a mag, grabbed a new one, and when I did, it cut my fingers. So where the round hit it, it had blown out the back of it, like a big spider web. So when I grabbed it, it filleted my hands open. So I dropped the mag and grabbed a new one, got the gun back up and running, and for whatever reason, I grabbed it off the ground and put it in my back pocket. Like, I don't know why I did it. I did it. So when we got back on the helo, we're flying out after that whole thing. We got all the medevac guys out. They were fine, minimal injuries, nothing crazy. We're flying back on the helo, and I'm sitting next to Jay Redmond. And I held up the mag, and I'm looking, I'm trying to focus it with my nods back and forth, and I don't know what it is. Like, it never even entered my conscious thought that I took a round there.
Damn.
I didn't know what it was. Put it back in my pocket, and we get back to the ready room, and we're going in for the debrief. And I dropped my gear, and I looked at it, and it's still in disbelief. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I hand it to one of the other guys, and he's like, that's a fucking bullet, dude. Oh, that is a bullet. That is a bullet. dead center. But it was weird when you look at the bullet and the angle it came into. We did a lot of breaching back then. We landed a lot. I used to run around with the charges capped in, and I had them all capped in, and I had my primary charges in a pouch right there, and it nicked the edge of the pouch where the caps were exposed to. So obviously if it would have hit that blasting cap, that would have been a hole.
Damn.
That would have been a bad day.
So for the audience, just real quick, I'm just going to interrupt. When he's talking about the caps being exposed, basically a breaching charge is a bomb, you know, that they use to blow a door, blow a hole in the wall, blow whatever up. And the blasting caps are extremely sensitive. So if that would have hit one of those, it would have been end of the road for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were running on big charges and we blew everything. We blew everything. That was the SOP back then. If you could blow it, you blew it.
So you didn't even fucking feel. You didn't even feel the fact that you got fucking pegged by a 45 in the chest plate.
So thinking back on it, the guys behind me said they saw me. Like, take a reflex. I didn't feel it. The next morning, when I stood up and I arched back, it felt like I did too many sit-ups, like sore in the sternum. Kind of hard to take a full breath, but nothing like what you'd imagine. Like I imagined I would have known instantly, like, oh my God. I didn't. The adrenaline was so high that's kind of what we use for like a training analogy now. Like when that adrenaline dumps, you won't know.
Yeah.
You won't know. Like in a proximity, a gunfight that is that close where you see muzzle flash and you feel it, it's very different. It's not being shot at from 300 meters. It's not hitting the wall. It's inside of 6 feet. It's a very different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been shot. I don't know, what that feels like, but I always imagined it would knock you on your fucking ass.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
So, yeah, we got through that one. That was like reality is set in now. And it's like, okay, all the stuff in training now everything is slowed down. The CQB is super crisp now. It's all real world. We're very current. And it's good. Like business is great. We're going out every night, every other night. We've got assets. It's awesome. As good as it ever could have been. And we go back. This is, so the firefight you were referencing was the one with Jay Redmond and those guys. That was September 10th. So almost on the anniversary. And everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but in a positive way. Zero loom. There wasn't an ounce of moonlight out, nothing. And for the guys that don't run around with night vision, those things aren't perfect. They're not, man. If you don't have any ambient light out there, like, they don't work very well. They just don't. So we were going back to the exact same spot, 2 houses down from where that thing happened. So we called it the Karma House. Like, bad karma, here we go. And we were going to land on the X. Going to blow the front door and take this thing down hard. That's what we did back then. So flying helos right to the front door, and this is what we're doing. And we knew from past experiences exactly what kind of resistance we were going to meet, and we planned for the worst. Like I went in on that thing completely knowing in that first room I was going to get shot.
Damn.
Like they had belt feds, they had suicide vests, like these guys are committed for sure. If we go in right now, that first room is going to be sketchy. And we landed on the X and we ran through that thing like we've done a million other times, and there was no one there. Dry hole. And then we get an update that all those guys had left and had ran out the back. And now they're in adjacent, essentially a cornfield. But if you imagine, imagine an endless field of nothing, just a plowed field. And then right in the middle of it is about 500 yards of 6 foot tall, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like straw, but it's not. I mean, you can't see anything. And they're trying to walk us down on top of this guy. So we all switch over. It's probably 6 or 7 of us. And we all get online and we were all starting to walk down. We've all switched over to fires and we're listening. And 2 of the new guys and 1 of the EOD guys had not switched over to fires. We literally interlocked arms. That's how bad it was. You couldn't see shit. We couldn't lose anybody inside there. We'd never walked through the palm groves before. We didn't have a dog. We didn't have the experience. And looking back on it, it's one of the most dangerous things I've ever done, because you knew the guy in there had a gun, like for sure. You knew that they run around with S-Vest, and you know they're committed. So now we are walking on there. So if you imagine just a big open field with a big sparkle in the center of it, and we're going to walk towards it. And we're going to walk until we find this guy. Okay. So we do. Completely committed, interlocked arms, and we are walking forward, and we're getting the updates. 15 feet. 10 feet. You're standing on him. And you see everybody looking down like, he's not here. Third person from the right, you are standing on him. And we all look over to the right. Nothing. Like, what the fuck? So we're all on a line, standing right there. And Jay calls an audible. He's like, whole maneuver element, take a right-hand turn, because we know there's an open field. We just have to cross, and now it's completely open. Now we can regather our shit, and we can assault from this side. By just walking through all this crazy brush, we can approach it from the open side and just walk in the brush a little bit, maybe call him out, do something else. And when we turn right, this element stayed. They didn't get the word. So now we have a bad guy, our element, and then another element. Now we're in a Polish ambush. We turn, we walk out, and we enter this beautiful manicured open field. There's not an ounce of cover anywhere in it. There's not a rut. There's nothing. There's not a rock. There's a single tire, and it's about 20 feet, 30 feet from the edge of the brush line. It's just out there, and we're standing there in a team guy gaggle, standing around like wondering, what the fuck? Is this guy really there? Is it a dog? Is it some animal? Like, these guys are clearly lost, and we don't realize that that bad guy is in there, probably 6 feet inside, and he's looking at us. And we're from the middle of the wall, and we're close. We're having a full-on conversation, and at one point, we're trying to relay to the other guys, because now we know we've lost 3. Now they're lost in brush country, and we have to reconsolidate them so we can deal with this guy. Because now we know the reality. We've turned the entire profile. Blue forces, bad guy, blue forces. We've got all the rest of the guys over here on the west side. And now we're trying to do a link up. Like, we have to get them around to reconsolidate with us. The blue force picture and knowing where everybody is it's challenging at times, but you really have to know then. We basically walked right up to the edge. It's, Jay's there, our corpsman, our terp, the J-TAC, and a guy we'll just call Matty is standing there with me. And we're all in kind of a team guy gaggle. And Jay hears something in the bushes, and I think he believed at the time it was the guys. And he screamed out, "Hey." And when he did, that dude let off the biggest Hollywood belt-fed burst I've ever heard.
Oh,
and
shit.
Everybody dropped. It was like, we used to do the new guy scenarios. You know, you're doing land warfare, the first contact and all the head shed dies, and now you got to drag around like, playing war games. That's what it was like. Everybody hit the deck. And there was a tree probably 30 feet that way. And I remember I turned, I heard it, watched them drop, and I was sprinting so fast to that thing. I remember the dust kicking up in front of me when he was tracking me. I dove behind the tree, and he pounded on that tree for what seemed like an eternity. I was on my back looking up. I mean, you can imagine, helmet's cockeyed, there's no ambient light, I can't see shit through my nods, and there's just dirt blowing all over me. I mean, I am consumed by this. I don't even know where he's at now. I don't know if he's on his feet chasing me down, like I'm just overcome with withering fucking fire. And then it stops. And he pans back over and he starts to engage the dudes. This thing goes on for a little bit, and we're trying to reconsolidate. The J-TAC has went out, and he's trying to grab people now. He's behind a tire. I remember looking over and seeing Jay, and I remember him sitting upright, and I watched him get shot one more time, right in the face, and it looked like that was it. He hit the ground so hard, you knew he was dead. So there's an audible that has to be made. We have the JTAC in behind this tractor tire. And I mean, it's a tractor tire. It's not big. It's about that high off the ground. Serves no purpose. And he's behind it, and I'm directly adjacent from him looking at him. Like, I have an out this way. Well, you can't because we have all these dudes that are shot up. And I remember it was like the scene from Black Hawk Down. Come to me. Fuck you. Come to me. Ready? Yep. And I got up and I ran as fast as I could, and I dove like a baseball slider in behind that thing. And it was such a sigh of relief to feel another human next to me. I was so thankful that he was there. And now we have to figure out how to get out there and bring those people back here. And this whole thing's happening very, very fast. So Jay's been shot multiple times. He's discombobulated, he's talking, and this guy's still trying to shoot him, but he can't see shit because it's black. So if you're quiet, he can't hear you. The bravest thing I have ever seen in 17 years happened on that night. I watched Matty get up and run forward after he'd already been shot and grab our corpsman and is dragging him backwards, just like out of the movies. Corpsman pulls out his pistol and is shooting into this bush line. And Matty gets shot again. Boom, spins him around and dumps him. He gets back up, grabs him and gets shot again. Dumps him and he gets back up and continued to drag him back until we got them all back to the tractor tire. You know, we're all pulling him in there and we basically just dogpiled on him. Just plates on plates, just trying to build up a human wall to not let these people be shot again. And he's still shooting at us the entire time. He hasn't let up. He just doesn't know where we're at now. So if we can keep everybody quiet, we've got hands over mouths, like people are screaming. We had, the corpsman got shot through tib fib, shattered his leg. Matty got shot through the brachial artery, hit his humerus and shattered that, and it flipped over the back of his neck. And I remember, because we talked about it later and it made sense, he looked very confused at one point, in between dragging the corpsman back, and he said he was looking for his arm. When it broke, it snapped and went over his neck, and he looked down and just saw this. Couldn't see it. I mean, there's no moonlight, you can't see anything. You can't see under nods right there, it's just gone. You look down and there's a stump there. So he doesn't know. He's been shot in the leg. Jay's been shot in the leg and the side plates. I think he took a double stack to the elbow, so it blew out his entire arm. And then he took one to the face that basically removed his jaw, removed his nose, and you could look inside him. It was as bad as it could have been. So we get them back and we go into TCCC mode. Tourniquets on there, we're packing wounds, we're doing that, and thank God for that course. I don't know where we'd be without that. The live tissue training and all that. That was, I was so prepared for that. We were in and out of that blowout kit so fast. And I joke with Matty about it. He was, I put the tourniquet on him, he was begging for me to stop. I was like, two more turns. Finally got the blood to stop. I mean, I had my fingers inside his arm, feeling out that thing. The medics working on Jay and the corpsman, putting on tourniquets, pressure dressings, all that. And I remember having a distinct conversation with Matty. He's begging me for quick clot. He's like, quick clot, over and over and over. I remember from talking to the surgeons during the training, he's like, if you dump quick clot in there, the only way to remove it is to cut it out. And it's inside of his bicep. And I mean, to me, I have the bleeding stopped. I have it under control. And I'm not pouring quick clot in you because they're going to have to cut it out of you. Like, I'm saving you. You're not dying here. Like, you don't need that quick clot. We had a bunch of hemostatic dressings. Like, I'm packing this thing. It's fine. And he wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. So I told him, yeah, and I grabbed a thing of quick clot. And I mean, this is underneath a tractor tire where rounds are coming over. I was like, I've got it. And I pretended like I did it, and I went like that. And he's like, thank you so much. So yeah, you never got quick clot. So the next thing, we have tourniquets on them. We are talking about what we're going to do now, and he is still engaging. And the JTAC J starts prepping a fire mission, and it's close. It's the closest, at that point, is the closest fire mission to coalition forces the entire war.
No shit.
Yeah, 40.
Estimate.
10 meters, 15 meters.
10 fucking meters?
I mean, close enough to where you could take a grenade and throw it.
Holy shit.